All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto you. How about Shimei Shai, about Shimei Kakradash. I want to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who want to teach well. And I want to say shalom for the hopeful elect. All right, this topic is going to be about an article that I saw in the news. Uh, it says Ukraine war shows West dominance is ending as China rises, Blair said. Okay. All right. So I'm going to see if I can show it to you. And then I'm going to get scriptures that go in that speak about the Lord's rise is next. Okay. All right. China is not going to rule next. Okay. All right. After this beast system is destroyed, which consists of NATO and the EU. All right. The next kingdom to rule is the kingdom of Yahweh Shemal Shai, right, which is going to be under control of Yahweh Shai, and the Israelites are going to be dominant in it. All right. So, letting the scripture speak. This is Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. Okay. So like I brought that out to show you that there's nothing new under the sun. All right. The same thing that happened within Jeremiah's time and in the time before Jeremiah and in the time before us. All right. Prophets was prophesying the downfall of countries and societies. Okay. All right. By means of war, by means of disease and famine. Okay. And economic uh, defaults or economic social collapses, which is happening here in America. Okay. So I'm going to read a couple paragraphs in this article, and then I'm going to get into some more scriptures. It says the Ukraine war shows that the West dominance is coming to an end as China rises to superpower status in partnership with Russia at one of the most significant inflection points in centuries, former British Prime Minister Tony Blair said. Okay, so Tony Blair is somebody that's in charge somewhere in regards to geopolitical things, all right, and Great Britain or Britain, all right. These other countries see that America is going down, and the people of America do not see nor do they understand that this place is about to be destroyed, all right. But going into what it says here, it says the West dominance is at an end as China rises to superpower status and in partnership with Russia. All right. Well, that's not biblical, man. Okay. All right. As this system goes down, all right. Shalom Maki Abashima Shabashima Kakadash Bakata. As this system goes down, we need to as the prophets of the Lord need to make the people aware that the kingdom of Yahweh Shema Shai is being set up next, okay? And that's what exactly is happening. So I'm going to read some of Daniel, the second chapter. And if the Lord has opened your ears to understanding, you would understand that the statue in Nebuchadnezzar's dream spoke of the Medo-Persian Empire, the Salakia, let me start over. The Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greeks, the Romans, and the last empire which we are living in is the empire ruled by NATO and the EU. All right, which coincides with the beast, which is the beast. Okay, this beast system. All right, these things, these uh, kingdoms are going to be brought down, and it's being brought down by the words of Yahweh Shema Shai, because the Lord allowed men to go out there and speak His word. Then the Lord brings His word to pass. Okay, so I'm going to start. This is Daniel chapter 2, verse 37. It says, Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the power of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. So Yahweh, okay, He gives uh, individuals time to rule. Okay. And wherever the children of men, and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them. Thou art this head of gold. So that head of gold is the kingdom of Babylon. Okay. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Okay, so another kingdom that's inferior to the Babylonian Empire in regards to how it looked on the statue. All right, was the Medo-Persian Empire. Okay, and then the third kingdom that I've spoken of here was the Greeks. Okay. And then it says, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces. And this is talking about the Roman Empire. And subdueth all things, as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. All right, and that goes into the Roman Empire and how strong their army, their military might was. Okay, and remember, the Greek Empire started with Edomites. Okay, started the Greek rulership started with Edomites, and it's going to end with Edomites. In here, there's nothing in Daniel the seventh chapter in regards to prophecies, major prophecies in 7 and 8. It said nothing about Moab ruling. Okay. All right. Yeah. I believe the Chinese are Moabites. Okay. And please, if I'm wrong, correct me on that. All right. But nonetheless, it says Daniel 2:41. It says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part iron and part clay, so shall the kingdom be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seeds of men, but they shall not cleave to one another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. All right. All right. This is the point right here. In Daniel 2:44, it says, and in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. All right, so uh, before I continue reading, if there was going to be another kingdom set up to rule after, Babylon the Great, all right, NATO and the EU, all right, it would have been mentioned here after verse 43. But now, as we're reading, you can understand. Hopefully, you understand that it's going into the next kingdom that's about to rule. All right, after Babylon the Great. Okay, and it's telling you who's going to rule. Okay, it says, and in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, it but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. All right, this is the next ruling kingdom, and this next ruling kingdom has nothing to do with uh, the so-called Chinese man. Okay, all right, nor the Russians. Okay, all they're going to do in regards to prophecy is bring down America with their military might. Okay, all right, in regards to thermonuclear missiles. All right, but Moab nor Russia is ruling next. Okay, so for as much as thou sawest the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof is sure. Okay, so it broke down all these pieces. Okay, and we're going to get in Revelation 19 that the stone is Yahweh Shai. Okay, but it says here that the interpretation thereof is certain. Well, that the dream is certain. So the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had, all right, about the statue and the five ruling kingdoms and that stone, which is Yahweh Shai. Okay, and the interpretation, how Daniel broke it down to him, it is sure. All right, that means it's going to come to pass. All right, just as Nebuchadnezzar had that dream and it faded away, all these five kingdoms, all right, are going to fade away, and we are in the last kingdom that's about to fade away. All right. So let me read some more on this article. It says the world, Blair said, was a turning point in history comparable, going back to the article I was reading earlier, comparable with the end of World War II or the collapse of the Soviet Union. But this time, the West is clearly not in the ascent, is not the ascendant. All right. It says we are coming to the end of Western political and economic dominance. All right. That's very important for you to understand, because once America falls, everything else behind that America stands for is gonna fall. All right. So the democracy that America spreads throughout the four corners of the globe, that's gonna go down. The dollar, they're devaluing the dollar every day. Okay. So you have more dollars in your pocket, but guess what? It's you have more dollars in your pocket, but the dollars that's in your pocket are worthless basically. So the things that you want or need, they cost more. Okay. Inflation, I believe, is at 11%. Somebody was talking to me about it today. All right. Um, and then also, as they try to set up this new world order, the Lord is going to strike them down, man. All right. I'm gonna get that. I know it's in Job. I just gotta search where. But I'm gonna keep reading. Blair said in a lecture entitled After Ukraine, what lessons now for Western leadership? According to the text of the speech to a forum supporting the alliance between the United States and Europe at Ditchley Park of West London, the world is going to be at least bipolar and possibly multipolar, Blair said. The biggest geopolitical change of the century will come from China, not Russia. Again, Russia is not going to rule, neither China. The biggest geopolitical change is what I just read in Daniel, the second chapter, in regards of the Lord coming to destroy this place, okay? All right. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else. All right. Let me get that scripture in Job. They're not going to set up a new world order. All right. Um, all right. This is Job chapter 20, verse 23. Let me see if there's some more in there I can read. All right. This is Job 20 and 23. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and it shall rain upon him while he is eating. All right, this is going into the Lord not allowing Esau not to set up his new world order. All right, the Lord is going to utterly destroy this place, man. This place is going down. America is going down in a blaze of glory. All right, when I say in a blaze of glory, it's the glory of the Lord that's going to be upon this place, because it's going to be his righteous anger. And Yahweh Dazah, you listeners, and as well as myself, are in them chariots watching this place be burned up. All right. Um, Continuing on, let me see. Uh, Now let me jump to Revelations, the 19th chapter, speaking about that stone. that's going to set up the rulership that's going to come next. Okay, this is Revelation chapter 19 and verse 11, and I'm gonna read down to 16. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. All right. Remember, we read earlier in Daniel, the second chapter, that the interpretation and the dream, the dream and the interpretation of Daniel's dream is certain and true. All right. All right. Just like the Lord Yahweh Shai is coming down here to make war and judgment on people, is true. All right. Kingdoms are brought down by war. Okay. Kingdoms are brought down by collapse from the inside. Okay. Deterioration from the people going against each other. All right. And in respects to that, you have, you're going to have, during Jacob's trouble, all right, you're going to have, so-called blacks versus whites. All right. And then you see they got this group called the Young Patriots, I believe it was. They're out there in Boston rallying and doing their thing in regards to being rebellious against America. All right. And then you're going to have Jake rise up as well. The Lord's going to be putting these spirits in these people to be divided amongst each other in regards to war. All right. And that's going to happen here on a lower level amongst the people, and it's happening on a geopolitical level amongst the nations. Okay. Verse 12, it says, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself, and those many crowns going to these kingdoms that the Lord has taken down. All right. It's 5 in Daniel, the second chapter, starting off with the Babylonians, and then with the revised Roman Empire, all right, which goes into NATO and the EU. All right. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name was called the Word of the Most High Yahweh. All right. And his name is Yahweh Shai. So the word of the Lord, you can go read John, the first chapter. All right. And it tells you that the word of the Lord, the word of Yahweh is Yahweh Shai. Okay. Verse 14, it says, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, Salakia, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, and the sword is any killing instrument, all right, that with it he should smite the nations. And he shall rule them with the rod of iron, he that treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the almighty power. All right. So a sharp sword is going to go into these lasers from these chariots that the Lord's going to be shooting at these people. Okay. Also, says he's going to rule them with the rod of iron. All right. Psalms, the second chapter. You can go read that. All right. And also it says he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness of the wrath of the almighty power. All right. Isaiah, the 63rd chapter. You can go read that. All right. Verse 16, it says, and he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. All right. And nobody's going to rule after the Lord Yahweh Shai takes this down but Yahweh Shai, man. Okay. And there's no kingdom that's going to be set up after this. Moab, all right, and Russia, y'all not going to rule, man. Okay. All right. Y'all not going to be rulers as the next phase of a kingdom is set up is only going to be Yahweh Shem Al Shai and the Israelites. Okay. So just letting the scriptures speak, and as the scriptures have spoken, the Lord is going to allow it to happen. All right. And as the scriptures have spoken, you're going to continue to see the decay of America in regards of the people and how their morality, and then in regards to the economic structure, and as well as the political structure. Okay. All right. In regards to the presidency, I believe I read and I have heard that Joe Biden has the lowest presidency rating ever. All right. These things are have an effect on how a country runs. Okay, all right, and just like with other things going on in the world, Sri Lanka, okay, they are out there, taking money from the people that have wealth, or killing those people, or putting those people to death because they don't have anything, they can't buy food. Those things are going to happen here, and there's economic crisis over there in Haiti. Those things are going to happen here in America, okay, and it's going to happen on a major scale, okay. So keep your eye open. America's going to go be destroyed wholly. When I say holy, everything in it, man. Okay, from one end of America, from California to over here in Virginia. All right, Lord will, you are edified. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto you. How about Shema El Shai, by Shema Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles of great millstones who want to teach well. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect, Kwame Yasharala, and Mawaf Abu Shalom.